It wasn't so long ago when Raptors Nation wanted Pascal Siakam gone from the team. After undergoing shoulder surgery in the offseason, which kept him sidelined for the first 10 games of the season, Pascal's struggles had Raptors fans buzzing for the former 2019 All-Star starter and MIP's head. With a combination of adjusting to his new role and the expectations of a number one scoring option, growing pains were of course expected. But Pascal's fall at the time seemed so drastic that questions started arising from not just Raptors fans, but the NBA world itself. Now, a fall in performance metrics to the tune of 14.9 points per game on 38% field goal percentage and 13% from three in a playoff series is a night and day difference from his regular averages of 22.9, 45%, and 36%. Of course, I'm referring to here his playoff performance against the Boston Celtics in the bubble a couple of years ago, which was the last time he played some super meaningful basketball. And ever since then, he has just never looked the same if you really look at it. And that playoff performance in Boston really did have a big impact on Pascal's performance even last year. So the questions were certainly understandable, and considering the fact that Pascal had just signed a max contract, making him the team's highest paid asset, these questions were also in fact quite warranted. I'm always somebody that has fun playing the game. I love this game, and I don't ever want to play the game without any joy. I think that's just something that I didn't see in myself. I just want to have fun. I just want to be able to play the game, work hard, have fun, and I think that's something I want to get back to. And those were Pascal's strong words following his playoff performance in the bubble a couple years ago. And despite his vow to dedicate the offseason to training and getting better, the versatile 6'9" forward's plans took a major hit as he had to undergo shoulder surgery to repair a labral tear. And let's be real here, having a number one scoring options pressure, letting your team down with your performance, your body breaks down on you, you have the spotlight on you, your every move is being watched, and to think that early on in his career had someone suggested that Siakam would be an all-star, they would have been probably ridiculed and laughed at for assuming such a far-fetched notion. Now combine all these factors and more, and that is enough to put a strain on even Atlas's shoulders if you ask me. So it's no wonder that he needed shoulder surgery after that. But honestly, in all seriousness, the fact that Pascal has turned things around the way he has now, despite all the scrutiny, despite all the slander and the obstacles he's had to fight through and overcome, it's actually the reason why I made this video. Pascal Siakam has now officially proven that he belongs amongst the league's elite. In other words, Siakam's absolutely ridiculous play as of late has, in my opinion, solidified his place as a bona fide all-star in this league. Never in his career so far has a 27-year-old been as confident, as efficient, and as effective in terms of his overall performances. Let me put things simply here. Siakam has literally been one of the best players in the league for almost 2 straight months now. By the way, this is just a 4-month-old channel, and recently we did just hit 1,000 subscribers, so I'm super grateful. And before we continue, just a quick 10-second message from the CEO of Jurassic's Basketball, my son Ayan.
Only 8% of you guys were subscribed?
I wouldn't want to get on his bad side, so I'll tell you what, it's best you guys just hit that subscribe button so we can keep the boss happy. Now back to Spicy P's resurgence. After seeing your 35-point triple-double the other night, Nuggets head coach Mike Malone sang some high praises of him. Obviously, he was incredible. He impacted the game in so many ways, even late for a guy like that who's having a game to make the play to get Fred VanVleet the three. He's scoring, he's playmaking, he's defending, and that's why he's been an all-star in this league. He has that type of talent and potential. So yeah, he's a hell of a player. Now those are some high praises coming from a veteran coach. Now let's ask ourselves one very important question here. How did Pascal manage to turn things around so dramatically? Now here are some key areas in Pascal's game which he has taken massive leaps forward in. First off, he has become more of an all-around player. Now we all know Siakam could always defend, he could always get out in transition, and these things haven't changed. In fact, they too have improved. But it's Pascal's decision making on offense. Finding the open man when doubled or driving and drawing help defenders, taking the right shots, not forcing anything, letting the game come to him. Yet asserting himself and taking control when necessary. All these factors were not so long ago weaknesses of his, and they were becoming blatantly apparent. And it showed because his efficiency in these areas saw a drastic dip during his times of struggle. And not so long ago, these were all weaknesses of his that were becoming blatantly apparent. As I mentioned before, his efficiency in said areas saw a drastic dip during his times of struggle. But when we look at Spicy P now, His ISO game has looked better than ever. His jumpers, his crossovers, trademark spins, and passes have been crisp, deliberate, and effective. And all these abilities of his have not just returned to the all-star levels that they were at prior to his aforementioned struggles, but he has actually improved on each and every one of them. Not to mention, Siakam has been an actual beast on the glass since his mid-November resurgence, frequently pulling in double digits in rebounds on an almost night-to-night basis. Now take all of the improvements I just mentioned and couple it with his mentality, and it's no surprise that Pascal has had this to say recently when asked about how he has been able to turn things around so dramatically. My mindset is literally to just keep attacking, and I feel like I always have an advantage on my man, and it's just a matter of if I get a double team or not. That's my mindset. That's how I approach it. I can get to the rim anytime I want. Now with the team finally healthy, clicking on all cylinders and rising quickly in what is a tight Eastern Conference race, Siakam's resurgence has been one of the main reasons for this. And with pride and joy, I personally say that I'm ecstatic for him. Personally, I've rooted for Pascal during the times he was slandered, and if you do want to see a take on him that I made just 2 games into his mid-November resurgence, I actually called it from back then, that he is about to take off, because I witnessed that there was a switch that flipped in him, and it was like an instant 180 from that time. So do check it out if you do want a little bit more in-depth insight on what I noticed during that time, because I do go into a couple of X's and O's, and it turned out that those points are still relevant till today, because since that time, Pascal has not looked back, and he's of course looking better than ever. So yeah, I'll leave that on the top right for you guys if you guys do want to check that out. Now let me also say, we've all heard of bumper sticker quotes such as mind over matter, never give up, overcome your doubts, and believe in yourself. Now as cheesy as these things may sound sometimes, as a Raptors and NBA fan for 21 years now, I can proudly say that Pascal Siakam has been a great example of the truth behind these sayings. His play recently has been an inspiration and should serve us as a reminder that faith, perseverance, and determination undoubtedly remain fundamental pillars of true success. I recently made a take on the Raptors trade deadline acquisition, by the way, Thad Young, and also outlined what he brings to this team, and I go a little bit in depth about it, and there are a lot of positives that he brings to this team, so you really do not want to miss that one, especially if you enjoyed this one. And remember, if you do watch it, you'll be feeding a hungry African. Seriously, I'm African, and I get hungry a lot. Got some munchies?